Hi everybody, welcome to the Dustdevils Coffee Hour. I'm your host Samuel Flores, and today I'm joined by Dr. Marcus Antonius Inalves, Associate Dean of Research of the College of Arts and Sciences. How you doing, Dr. Marcus?
I'm good. Thank you, Sam, for that. Like I say, my complete name. My mom would always say, "Your name is not just Marcus; it's Marcus Antonius."
And where did you get that name from?
She was like an English teacher, literature, so she knew this is Julius Caesar thing.
Yeah.
And Marcus Antonius was the I think the Roman general, if I remember that, who was close to Julius Caesar. Yeah, so that's where it derived.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't want my name because it's like so long. What's Marcus? It's so formal. But as I grew up and aged, I think, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the name. I like it, Marcus Antonius.
And
Marcus
was it like a standout name, like in the Philippines, or?
I don't know what standout means, but it sounds classical, right? It's Roman.
Yeah.
Usually we'll be so wanting to have names which are westernized or anglicized, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I envy my classmates who had those kinds of names, like anglicized, like Cindy or Catherine or something like that. Sound. In traditional times, we had like Spanish names like Matilde or Ramon. But as you know, the new generations of Filipinos usually have Western names, like American names in a way. The last names are more or less sounding Hispanic or Spanish, but the first names are typically those kinds of Western. Yeah.
That's
so I was always thinking, why is my name so sounding different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, it kind of was like, well, when I say stand out, I mean was it different from other names?
Yeah,
from
it
your
was.
classmates?
It was.
Yeah.
It was very different from my classmates' name. Yeah. So I
they
was
were like make fun of you, or
not
or they say
really,
that's a really cool name, because I think that's a really cool name.
Yeah, they would call me different names. They call me McCoy, Maki, Mac. Okay. Oh, these are all the permutations of what it is. But when I was a kid, no, I did. I had many nicknames. Popet, Bitoy, Pedro. My grandma used to call me Pedro. I know, right? It's like, call me Pedro. I like the name Pedro, but I just don't see the connection with my name.
Right.
But he called me Pedro because he said that one of his cousins was really a good boy, and his name was Pedro. And she hoped that I would also be a good boy.
And were you?
I don't know if I was a good boy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so Dr. Inalves, the purpose of this podcast is to get to know professors better, because I think sometimes some students might feel uncomfortable to approach a professor because they're like this.
Yeah.
Let's call it a deity, right? That you can't
some demigod.
Yeah, it's like some demigod that you can't even converse with.
They're humans too, guys. They're humans.
Yeah. So that's the purpose of this. So I want to get to know you a little bit better, and I think I've gotten to know you from the past year working with you. So what I wanted to start this off.
Just a past year? Was it just 365
more,
years?
I wanted to talk to you about, first of all, your love for Top Gun. Where does this come from?
Top Gun.
Yeah. See, your eyes shine whenever I say Top Gun.
My love for Top Gun is why? Why do I love Top Gun? It's more of the quality of the train. Not the Top Gun one, though. It's a Top Gun Maverick.
Maverick.
The one, yes, because at first I was looking at it. It's about the training. It's a training system about pilots and the quality, the dedication, and the grueling Spartan training. I love that. I love something like that. Yeah. It's like when somebody says, "You can do it." Oh, you can do it. That really sparks me. Yes, you can do it. Or, of course, you can do that one. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was more of the passion. Not maybe Top Gun one, Top Gun. It was okay. My schoolmate in elementary called McCoy. Watch Top Gun. Okay, watch Top Gun. I saw Charlie. I saw Pete, the Maverick, and everything. It's okay. But Top Gun too, sir. It's a training. I always remember, my team at the COAS Research Development Team. We call them TG.
Yeah.
TG, informally, guys, they call them Top Gun because they are staff in COAS OD who are really trained to do grants and all those highly competitive operations. We're we think that way, and we do it that way, and we have an ethic and a culture over there. So pretty much we could relate to Top Gun, but we now call it technical group. Whenever we speak to the outside world, we don't want to be called Top Gun. Internally, we're coded Top Gun, but when we present ourselves outside, we are COAS OD Research and Development Team, but informally call ourselves the technical group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
I think I like the training.
The training.
And like remember when you had this interview with Naomi and she wanted to run this marathon? Oh, sure, I like that one. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I like that. I like that in her.
Yeah.
She becomes impressive to me when you say that. I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
That kind of when something is difficult,
Right.
when
Right.
something is just not there,
Yeah.
and you have to perform under pressure. I like that, sir.
Okay. So you
I like that.
that.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
Where it comes from? Oh, wow, that's a difficult question. Where is it coming from? Honestly, I don't
Like,
know.
do you think maybe like, you know, in your childhood, right? Like, you got used to this sort of like training regiment, or
No, as a
or you
kid,
just
I
sort of
was
developed it?
ordinary, unimportant, sir. I was like, I was nothing special or whatever, or I didn't do in this kind of training. But my dad was military,
Yeah.
so I just heard like stories about military operations and those stuff. And maybe that's where I got it. Then in high school, well, the high school that I went through was like something like nationally competitive to be admitted to that high school. So it's like maybe that's where I derive it. It's like that kind of it's like it's a Top Gun in high school,
Right. Right.
right? That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Out of 18,000 students nationally, and we are like 75 million at that time, Filipinos, and there will only be admitting like 240 students. So it's a national and it's a series of screening. Maybe, yeah, you make me now realize where did I get this?
Yeah.
So it's that grueling dedication to like, you don't really train, you don't train to solve problems, it's more of the thinking. What else can I do this? How can I solve it differently?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, right? I don't care about the failure. I just like the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the adventure. not about
Yeah,
the-
the adventure, the
Yeah.
adventure of like, I don't want to call myself as like, loving torture. I just love that kind of, it's more of the intellectual or whatever, the challenge, not the
Right.
torture, but the challenge
Yeah.
that there's this kind of, you can really do it. And whenever I see my kids here at TAMIU, I call kids my students and everything, it's like, I want to see them as like, I'm challenged by, we can develop you guys. I'm
Yeah.
always like that. I don't care where you come from. We're first generation, you have a 2.0 GPA, 1.5 GPA coming from high school. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
We can transform you. There is a way to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of challenge always is in my memory because I was never smart. I would never say I'm smart. I just wanted to develop myself in
Right.
that kind of thing. And so that when you ask me, where does this come from? I don't know. Maybe it's maybe that. That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when you say you were never smart, what kind of even brought you to do a PhD then? Because there might be some students that feel like that, you know?
It's really nice. It's like when I was a kid, we were poor. We were really poor. No toilet, nothing of that one. My toilet, sir, was like a newspaper. Yeah, that was where I would do it, sir. Like my mom, Marcus, yeah, they put paper, and we were in a nipa hut made of bamboo and coconut tree leaves. That was our life. And neighbors were pretty much a little bit better. There were TV, so that in our house and in the afternoon, I would be alone at home at that age, about 4, 5, 6. And I still remember they would say, hey, Marcus or Puppet is over there. Can you just watch after him? He's in the house. And I would just be there alone. And I would see in the afternoon, guys, like there would be this TV show about Mickey Mouse. This MICKEYMOUSE. Oh, they're nice. Look, I could see it from from our window. I just television. Oh, what's that? It was black and white TV, but they were nice looking kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Mickey Mouse guys, and they had all this headgear with all those. Wow. I said, where is that place? Where is that? So yeah, the PhD was that one. It was always in my high memory. It's like I always wanted to go to the U.S. to meet Mickey Mouse.
So that was like your overall goal?
Yeah, just to see that one, just to see where it is. And then when I was a kid, my mom went to the U.S. Because she had a brother who was in the U.S. And I always had that kind of thinking that the U.S. was in the sky.
What?
Because, yeah, we would go to the airport, see mom say bye into that one, and see the airplane take off, and the plane will just disappear into the sky.
Yeah.
And said he'll go to Mickey Mouse in the U.S. So I thought the U.S. was up there, somewhere in space.
Oh.
Oh, that was really a nice place.
You were like, wow, they're technologically advanced.
Yeah, so that was always that kind of case. Then I always wanted to go to the U.S. and like wanted to see the U.S. just not to immigrate, but to just see it.
Yeah.
And until I got married, I had kids that was always
Yeah.
in me wanting to get married. Then it's like, no, there's no way. Then I spoke to one of my office mates and he said, Marcus, you want to go to the U.S.? Yeah. Oh, man. Well, how are you doing this? I'm just applying for work or tours. So you'd always get rejected.
Yeah.
And in the Philippines and the U.S. Embassy there,
Mm-hmm.
they'll always think, well, Filipinos, they'll just stay there. They'll just hide and hide and hide, and they'll just want to be a citizen over there. And so, no, you won't get it that way, Marcus.
Yeah.
She was just being frank. It was always the honest truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what do we do then? Oh, well, why not apply for a PhD? Really? I did, sir. Immediately, the visa, within 2 weeks, all 4 of us were approved.
Really?
That was the fastest ever.
Oh, wow.
They were also surprised because usually it's a very prolonged process. If you apply as a tourist or apply for a job, you will not get that one.
Right.
Unless you are very, very high in socioeconomic status.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, sir, that was a passion for it.
Mickey Mouse.
PhD? Oh, why would I want to be PhD? What's that? PhD.
So that's interesting. Like you wanted to come to the U.S., right?
Yeah.
And somehow you getting the PhD.
Yeah, it was just a means for me to be an F1 PhD student in the U.S., but I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
What it will entail me to do, that it will change my life. Because I just wanted to see the U.S. and see all these beautiful people and places, a definition of success.
Yeah.
Right? For Filipinos, it's like, oh, the U.S., anything that's U.S. is successful, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
And then you went to LSU, right? Am I right?
Yes, at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how was that? Like, how was the culture change, or was there any culture change?
Oh, the scary part was when in the U.S.
Yeah.
Marcus, where are you going with Ruby, with the kids? To Louisiana State University. Where's that? In Baton Rouge. In Louisiana? That's a deep south, man. And they'll say they will scare me with all that they so, oh man, you will encounter this. Did you know that was more or less the traditional South, the Confederacy and everything? Oh, shoes, I got scared.
Yeah.
Okay, and wow, and I was tiny. By Filipino standards, I was already tiny at like, I'm just 5'3" and 3/4.
Yeah.
I am not that tall, sir.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah.
Like, but I said, why not? I'm good there. I'm okay. We'll go there.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. It's always, whatever about the U.S., about maybe they talk about racism, inequalities. I did not hear that one, sir.
Right.
I was always thinking, well, the U.S. is the land of the brave. I said, home of the free and land of the brave.
Yeah.
My grandma will always tell me that one. My grandma was always want to be in the U.S. She even sang the Star-Spangled Banner. Because we were under the U.S. since like 1898 to 1946. And she grew up during those years.
Yeah.
She speaks English. She sings the Star-Spangled Banner to the note and to everything.
Really?
Yeah, I know. And our hometown was
Yeah.
also that kind of, we experienced so much about, the Japanese Imperial Army coming over here, over there. And our town being an internment camp for Allied forces.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
So during like World War II?
Yeah, so there are many stories about America, Japan, and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the time of like, there was no TV for me. I would just listen to my grandma. Pedro, come over here, Pedro. Okay, I'll tell you stories. Well, you remember this? It's all stories about the war. I think that was the freshest memories that she always has, and
Like
it stays.
all war.
Yeah, what's done? What were the life during the war years? But of course, coming to that.
She was young during that time, right?
Yeah.
Or so she was sort of like absorbing everything that was going on during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also the stories from her made me like America more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She likes America. She loves Franklin Delano Roosevelt. She knows all about those.
Really?
I was just listening in amazement. She didn't know about Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
But definitely it's all about the nice place of like New York or about
Right.
JCPenney. She has all those magazines. She would order JCPenney.
Really?
I know.
Yeah.
Right. That was my first time to see JCPenney over there. Or was that? Yeah, it was a JCPenney because she would order all those like fabric and linens from abroad. And I would see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like exposed to America from a young age, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I want to be.
Yeah, but
in the
Ruby
US.
doesn't want that life though. She didn't want to come to the U.S.
Right.
She's more exposed to to the U.S. because her siblings were all U.S. But for I think she saw this side of the U.S. where the divorces and everything happened. That kind of challenged us. But I didn't see that one. I was more than willing to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind
to
of
you it
thing.
was like there's this magical
Oh,
land
no,
out there.
whatever you say, I'll go to the
Yeah.
US, even if I'm alone. It's like,
Yeah.
you're going alone there? You're not even thinking about
Yeah.
your family. Yes, I want to be the US.
Um, so then, like, when you came to the U.S., like I mentioned right now, like, was it different for you? What about now? Like, your feelings from then, like, where it was this like enigma of like this beautiful
Oh,
land, and now that you've been here
yeah.
for, I don't know how long. How long have you been here?
In the US
Yeah.
since 2001. How many years will that be? 21 years?
Almost 22.
22 years,
Yeah.
yeah. It has changed. I'm still like, during my idle moments, guys, alone and thinking, wow, Marcus, you're in America. Before you were just like having your toilet in like a newspaper, and you're so poor, man.
Yeah, yeah.
When I'm alone, I'm just reflecting on that. That's how I'm humbled by being here.
Right. So it's
Whenever
like a humbling
people,
experience.
when I graduated from doctoral school,
Mhm.
like my advisor, we have the same advisor as Dr. Kilburn.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Marcus, there's
Yeah.
a job in Laredo. Would you want to be there? Because I wanted the job. Who wouldn't want a job in the US? It's being here.
Yeah.
But it says in Laredo. Okay, I'll go there. You want Laredo? Yes, I'll be there. I don't care about that. Then all my friends say, Marcus, you're going to Laredo? That's the edge of the world. And why would you want? That's not the US. What do you mean that's not the US? That's still the US. What do
Yeah.
you mean that's not the US? That's the
Yeah.
US. Come on.
Yeah.
There's no dissuading me going to
Mhm.
Laredo. I will be there. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you came to Laredo, was it any different? Because Laredo is like mostly Hispanic, right?
Oh, at first, like, because my plates were Louisiana and my first students,
Yeah.
I was like, Dr. Kilburn will tell me, Marcus, don't drive so much south. Why? They might kidnap you. Why? Why would they kidnap me? Because you're so different. Like, okay, now I'm so scared whenever I see Border Patrol. You know,
Yeah.
when you're not US, when you're just like
Oh,
H1B,
okay. I see what you're saying.
when you see
Yeah.
Border Patrol cars, you feel, I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that way, even
yeah.
though I'm like working at TAMIU.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I can relate to that,
Man,
yeah.
that one. Then the first Walmart I went to, because I was alone here first, the kids and Ruby were still there because Ruby was still finishing her PhD in Louisiana. I went to Walmart, and then I was like, excuse me, ma'am. Oh, ma'am, they don't want to talk to me because I spoke in English,
Yeah.
right? I look so brown and so non-white.
Right.
But I
right.
was speaking English, and I felt like, ma'am, excuse me, I wanted, no, they will not talk to me,
Yeah.
sir. Nothing like that. Yeah, that was my first experience. But as I, spent time over here and learned got to know many students. Everywhere I see them, at airports, at like malls, and everyone, is like it became a nicer place that you get to know them. That there's this like the place that is now home for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns suddenly it becomes home. That kind of alien place, that new place, becomes
It's
home.
now home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Ruby will always ask, you know what, I really like Laredo. Me too, I like Laredo. How about Houston? It's okay to visit,
Yeah.
but Laredo is home. And I didn't realize that when I went to Japan. I went to Japan. Japan it's an enchanting place, as
Yeah,
you would.
yeah,
You like
yeah.
Japan.
Uh-huh.
All those high-tech, it's so Western, but it's so Oriental. I couldn't believe that kind of thing. Shoots, this is so Western, but it's so advanced. It's so
Yeah.
different. I'll say, okay, this is 30 days in Tokyo. Ooh, okay, I will enjoy every bit and second. Guys, 10 days after, I was missing Laredo for
Really?
some reason. Like, why am I missing in Laredo? Is it family? No, not just family. It's more the place
Yeah.
that you sense that you are free to move, that people treat you as equal,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? That kind of thing.
Was that not the same over there?
Because when I was there for research, so I
Yeah.
would interview scientists. It's more they highlight the inequalities in science that
Uh-huh.
females cannot advance,
Yeah.
that females are so trapped because they have a career to work on to prove themselves in their career. They have to take care of their husbands, according to that interview. They have to take care of their kids, and they have to take care of parents.
Right.
And that's a lot. And they're still not doing really well based on standards. When you see them, it's like there's so much that you're asking us to do.
Yeah.
So that they'd
yeah.
rather not get married because they don't want to have all those responsibilities because they want to also have a career.
Right.
So much of them
yeah.
see if they become scientists. I was interviewing. It's more of a business trip that I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also there were times wherein you could really like do stuff, and I was with my students. But you miss Laredo.
Yeah.
You miss the U.S. Yes, but you miss that kind of thing about Laredo, that is family oriented.
Yeah.
I don't feel different. I don't feel I'm Filipino. I not no nothing like that. I talk to my students as if I were one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to speak Spanish, but my Spanish is really not the best. I tried to.
Yeah.
But Ruby does good Spanish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember in Spanish class before, if somebody told me I'd been in Laredo, I would have really done well in Spanish class. We have 12 hours of Spanish class in the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had I known that I would be here, I would have learned that one. Oh man.
So you kind of just breeze through it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I thought there was no purpose.
Yeah.
If somebody told me that his Spanish is the second dominant language, and you will be there, Marcus. You will be there.
Yeah.
Really? I'll be there? Where? I won't be in Spain. No, no, no. You will be in Hispanic Laredo.
Yeah.
And I like that one because, like, if somebody told me that, I would have learned my. The worst thing that happened to me is the professor asked me to conjugate el verbo oír. That's an irregular verb, sir.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yo, nosotros. I didn't even know what to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know what to say. I was just paralyzed.
Yeah.
I would just memorize, asa, amos, ais, an. Okay, yo bebo, tu bebes. I don't understand any of this. Yeah, so that was it. So I think that's how I see Laredo now as home.
Yeah.
I see Laredo as the friendly place.
Yeah.
And I think retirement for us will be here.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like you
it's,
found a second home here, even if
actually, it's now the first home for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whenever I think Philippines, when I come back there, it's sad. You feel you don't have any connection because I don't have relatives
Yeah.
anymore there.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
at least from me. If there are, they are not the tight-knit relatives
Right.
anymore.
Uh-huh.
I like to visit the place because our home is in my alma mater. Our residence is within the campus.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I ever go there, I love the Philippines. It's just when you ask me about home, this is home for me.
Yeah.
Like Laredo will be home
Yeah.
for
That's
all
good.
of us. There's just 4 of us.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's Leslie, Booney, Ruby, and myself.
Uh-huh.
But we have lots of students.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's the thing. The
Yeah.
fun stuff is like you have students to talk to, that there are students that you can help develop,
Yeah.
right? If in your own little way.
So that's
Yeah.
something you're very passionate about, right? Like developing students or developing
Oh
people.
yeah,
'Cause you-
because like in the office of the dean, we have some structure over there, as in who are your staff. But I don't want to treat them as staff. I want to treat them as my students, so
Yeah.
that they're not just working to bone dry their talents. I want them to learn while they are there. That is just a temporary thing. That, for example, Sam is with me in this office, but I want Sam or Rebecca or Naomi to learn from this experience. That we get to learn together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That when you look back, is that, oh, I learned. It's like I see them as more of interns and students. No
Yeah.
grades, but we're students.
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
I don't want to treat them as employee. Hey, I'm your boss. Nothing. I don't want to. I'm so uncomfortable thinking that way.
Right.
No, we will learn it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm asking because like since I've met you, you seem to have like this mentor system, right? You say, "Oh, I have mentees all over the U.S."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you're very passionate about that.
I am.
Why is it that you're passionate about that? What makes it like?
Because when I was in high school,
Uh-huh.
that competitive high school, man, I almost like that first year. I was like, our first quiz in science. It's highly competitive, sir. I got a 19/20. I was so happy. Ooh, shoes. This is like physics with all the cosine, theta, and blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
After that, when we got out of the classroom, I felt sad because I was the only one who was 19/20. All others were 20/20.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that kind of thing, sir. Just one
Okay.
mistake, I shed
Uh-huh.
shoes, man. And I was struggling on the first like semester of that one, and at least you need someone to more or less like bounce back. And there were friends who became mentors. They're peer mentors who help you. We would be solving calculus together. And calculus, that's when I realized that calculus may be something innate that you can understand, but you can also train yourself to develop learning it.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can. You have that. So there's that kind of always believe that there's something about nature or the DNA of a person, or genetics, but there's also the environment and the training system. I believe in that one, that between those two forces, they work together.
Yeah.
But once you train people, you can get something from nothing at all, right? I am challenged by that kind of thing, that kind of situation that we can develop talents.
Uh-huh.
And mentoring is the way. You don't learn it through formal lectures. You don't learn it that way. But mentoring is that guiding a student and thinking not for anything else, but just the genuine interest of developing the talent and how to coach, how to be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There will be some emotions involved because it's like a parent relationship, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more than that. It's like a coach, a manager, everything.
Mhm.
You're not expecting anything from a mentee, just the best out of that mentee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found that in my friends in high school, and they were just dedicated to help me, and because they were your friends, yeah, just like go the patience of it.
Yeah.
And they were peer mentors. There were
Uh-huh.
also teachers.
Yeah.
But I could relate more with peer mentors. And I said, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that thinking that someone who feels they don't belong because it's so competitive, it's so technical, but you can have them. And that applies
You can
to
bring them up to that
you
level
can.
that they require.
You can. I've
Yeah.
seen that one, sir.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Others will say, Marcus, just get students who are 4.0. And no, like, there's no impact for a 4.0 student anymore for me. Maybe if there is. There's
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
But you have more impact for those who really come from marginalized background, low
Mm-hmm.
GPA or who are first generation or who are not confident about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I only do, sir.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. I'm sure a lot of students will
Right.
be happy to hear that.
So going back to Top Gun, it's because I like that kind of the character of Pete Mitchell
Yeah.
as a trainer, but as also a mentor to have them believe that they could do it.
Yeah.
That there's this kind of different training.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do something different, and you can do it as a team. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to push yourself, and I like that. I like
Yeah.
the principle. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And most of whenever I am in Washington D.C. in a panel, they would always ask me, Marcus, where are you from again? They're top schools. They're the top schools professor, like Michigan, Princeton, everything. I come from Texas A&M International University. Oh, College Station. No, not College Station. It's the original. Ah, suddenly it's like it's a downer. Ah, okay. And you're in a panel. You feel that you should all be experts in this, but they feel like,
Yeah.
Really? No. So that's the thing that makes me like, we need to train the self. And I
Mhm.
always say, guys, to my students, if ever they're down and everything, remember Star Wars. Star Wars and Tatooine. Tatooine is a planet, sir, in the planetary system of Star Wars, in the universe of Star
Yeah.
Wars. Tatooine is poor. Tatooine is at the periphery. It's hot. But the thing with Tatooine, it's like Laredo. The thing with Tatooine, the greatest Jedi came from that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker, sir,
Yeah.
came from Tatooine, the greatest Jedi.
Yeah.
And the greatest Sith, in a way.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see Sith as bad. It's just different. So the greatest came over there. I always tell them, guys, the greatest can always come from this place,
Yeah. Yeah.
Laredo. It doesn't mean that it will be Cornell, it will be New York, it will be San Francisco. It can come from over here,
Yeah, from Laredo.
unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like that. I like to think about
Yeah.
it that way.
You caught my attention with something you said right now. You said you don't think the Sith are necessarily bad.
No,
The
they're,
Sith from
they're
Star
just
Wars.
different.
Why is that?
Everything is just an agenda for me. Whether it's good and bad, okay, by what definition and where are you coming from?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So there must be a reason for that. So for me, it's just different.
Yeah.
We may not just align with each other. We're not saying you're bad, or you're evil. No, I don't want to label something like that. It's just
Yeah.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because I know we talked about it one day, and you said you would identify as a dark Jedi. No, I don't think a dark Jedi is a Sith. At least I'm not.
It's a hybrid of
familiar.
both.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid of the Jedi persuasion, of the light side and the dark side. But for me, the dark side is never evil. The dark side is mysterious. The dark side is patient. The dark side is even strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Between the tension of light and darkness in all this universe, it's all about dark energies and, that kind of dark, the side, the lesser energy, that there's no energy, but there's this also temperature and high
Mm-hmm.
energy. But those are, for me, they're just different. It's not bad. You need that.
Okay.
You need that one.
Yeah.
To be Jedi, to have a purpose, there should be at least the counter thesis of that one, the antithesis.
Okay. Sort of like the
Yeah.
yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
A
that
balance, right? Yeah.
So dark is not bad. Sith is not bad. It's just different way of mentoring.
Okay.
A very different way of mentoring.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
you subscribe to that, that's nice. If not, that's also fine.
Yeah.
But it gives you balance.
Right.
Yeah, it makes you better
Mhm.
actually when you have that kind of hybridization.
Right.
The hybridization is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sort of to segue into that, what gives you your love for Star Wars? Because if a student walks into your office, right, they'll immediately see a bunch of Star Wars, like posters. You have the little BB-8 lamp.
Yeah, I like your question because you make me think about things that I really don't think about. Okay, why I like Star Wars? I like Star Wars for, first, the mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
The mentoring is an important aspect of Star Wars. The Jedi type of mentoring, the Sith type of mentoring, and the seduction to
Yeah.
each of the side. I use the term seduction not in a sexual way, but to be persuaded into that direction.
Right.
And I'm trying to see, okay, how is this? How do you train someone to be really good? What is that relationship? What is actually mentoring? It makes me think many ways. When you say mentoring, it's just easy. It's just something like exercise. Exercise.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted. You need to tell me how exactly. It's like, how to do something. There's some mechanics to this.
Yeah.
And Star Wars gives me that tool to imagine. It gives me that one. And it also presents me with like the conflictedness in people. When you talk about Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, I could imagine that conflict. That there are times you feel bad, you feel good.
Yeah.
It's always that tension.
Mm-hmm.
You're honest or not honest, or you're bad or not, you feel good or not. It's that conflict. That's yours as long as you're alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's life in a person, there's that tension that's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. And what else? And the development of the self is important. And the lesson that I could see, that one thing that strikes me is in the intro. It really is profound. It's like it goes something like in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the little
Right.
text scrolling. Yeah.
Yes, 25 in the millennia, and it's far.
Yeah.
It's past.
Yeah.
It made me think, shoots. Before us, we think we're so advanced. We're advanced technologies before and civilization,
Right.
but they get extinct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's like we think we're high tech. This is not high tech because there were already. So high tech for me is not necessarily of the future. It could have been a past
It could have been in
event.
the past, but
Yeah,
it
it
extinct.
makes me realize that one. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We think we're advanced, but no, there were advanced civilization. Only that they're gone.
Yeah.
They're not here for us to witness.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think. And I like thinking. It triggers so much imagination for me.
Yeah.
And Star Wars equipped me with the tools on how to talk about mentoring,
Mhm.
how I could relate with my students.
Yeah.
It gives me that material to hold on to, like anecdotes and stories to share,
Yeah.
or to learn lessons and magnify and connect with life. I think that's what I want. And
So
I
sort of
want
like
to,
You want to be the Obi-Wan to somebody, right? Or
maybe if not Obi-Wan, that's too high a stature for me.
oh, okay.
Just to help people,
Okay. Yeah.
right? People.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they become better than me, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's
Yeah.
like if they become richer or whatever, I just want, whenever I ask my mentee or hope for mentee, I just ask them to be ethical. Ethical in the proper way, depending on the culture. What's the
Mhm.
proper way? To be universally ethical. Then
Mhm.
maybe that's what I want to say. And to always tell them that what defines life is not the material things.
Mm-hmm.
These are the material, the relationships that I have. It could be your relationship with an animal companion or with a friend or with family. Those are the things that were the cultivation. And to develop yourself to the fullest.
Yeah.
And to not think about yourself, not to be selfish, but to be selfless in
Yeah.
giving. Yeah, that's what I want to tell my mentee and
Yeah.
even to my kids. I don't want anything, guys. I don't want anything of high expensive gifts or so ever, or anything material. Does not define me.
Mhm.
Papa is not that way. And also my students. Guys, don't be defined by that.
Yeah.
It will follow as long as you do your passions.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want them to be ethical. That's important, sir. For me,
Yeah,
being ethical is important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about successes for us. If it's not ethical, then I don't care about
Is that
rank.
like one of your values? Like
Yeah,
being
for me,
ethical?
Ruby infused me that value.
Yeah.
Ruby is the guiding. Ruby, my wife, is the guiding person who says that one. Whenever I see myself, Omar Marcus, taper down, taper down. You're associate dean, taper down, sir, taper down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she gives me that kind of thing. Don't think of this like, no, you are at service to people. You are not using this as like a weapon or an advantage to other people.
Yeah.
You are not using that one. Treat your students, treat others in that way. So she's always there. She reminds me, yes, Marcus, don't do it that way.
That's good. You have like a good positive role.
Yeah,
Like
she is
I'd
just
say
a
role
person.
model, but I don't think that's the word. But
She is
sort
the conscience
of
in me.
influence.
Yeah,
There
the
we go.
influence, the
Yeah.
conscience, the good person,
Mm-hmm.
and who I want to think about surrounding people with positive energies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I want to
Yeah,
be, and I
yeah.
want to transfer that to my students. And again, as I treat you, sir, during our meetings,
Yeah.
the same as I treat my mentees, my student.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, not as a boss, but more of like a friend who would like, we'll do this together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of that. So.
Yeah. And that's more encouraging rather than
Yeah.
it being like a command or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if there's something that fails in the mission, just they talk about it. What happened there? What happened to us? Like, we're not there to say, why did you do this? Like, no, I won't. No. Let's talk about this. What did you learn from that one? I
Yeah.
always want to learn from mistakes.
Mhm.
And one thing, like when you treat people as like in that mode, it makes you learn many things,
Mhm.
and it humbles you because you're also learning from them.
Yeah.
The students and even younger people or even equals have many things to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be hanged up by status. That's why I always tell my students too that even this is a custodian, if this is a janitor, it doesn't matter. You need to treat them well.
Yes.
The same thing. It's like I usually remind my students when they think they're already successful, and no, nothing like that. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much that's how, but it was Ruby who gave me this.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Catholic faith also, the Christian faith in general.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Wars in a way, reminds me, all of those.
Yeah, all of those.
Yeah, and my experience being poor when I
Yes.
was young and everything. I think that's what it takes, sir, for me.
So sort of to finish this off, I kind of wanted to talk about like, well, you're a professor of sociology, right?
I am.
So why sociology? What made you interested in it?
Sociology,
Yeah.
sir. Why was I? See, you really asked me tough questions. I started off being a stat major. Then I took like a sociology course.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I think it was social inequality. And that gave me all the, it interested me out of the mathematical mind.
Mm-hmm.
I found substance in it, that there's always inequality and fairness in the world. And how do you, face with this situation? Always there is that. And I still don't know how to really make a difference in terms of social inequality as a sociologist.
Yeah.
And also, my background in the Philippines maybe made me sensitive to social issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I come to be more receptive to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that made me a sociologist. I like being with people, but also I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
I find myself introverted, that I feel that in too many people, I feel, I don't know, I lose my energy or thought I need to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely it's a nice thing to involve with people. But I think for me, I still need to go to reconcile the conflictedness in me that I am an introverted person. And if ever I speak, I become social, it's because I think I have to, or as a sociologist.
Okay,
But
yeah.
in my own, I also want some what you call peace alone. And
Yeah.
my best conversations are usually dyadic,
Yeah.
one-on-one. And when it becomes more, I feel like, oh, I'm losing my energy now. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I feel like
get
that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, especially like in big parties and everything.
Yeah.
I
You're
usually
just, like, in
drink
the corner,
alcohol.
right?
If there's alcohol, I drink alcohol because it gives me some energy,
Right.
and I become more open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're going to be teaching a sociology of Star Wars class.
Yes,
Am I correct?
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
still like planning. Like this is the
Okay.
exciting part. How do
Yeah.
you teach a course with six
Yeah.
episodes? Do you do it in all 6 episodes, or then including the 9 ones? I still don't know the architecture.
Yeah.
And did you have a question about that course?
No, well, I mean, I just kind of wanted to show that, so if there are any students watching this, they're kind of prepared, or they can see that you're the associate dean of the College of Arts and Sciences is doing something fun, right? Like the sociology of Star Wars class. Because if I was still a student, I would probably take that class.
Oh, I hope there will
Yeah.
be enrollment.
Yeah.
Sometimes the nervousness of it or the
Yeah.
scariness of it when no one doesn't really enroll.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, what's happening here?
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
wish
sure
it
they
was
will.
something that
Mhm.
I hope to develop a good course. But again, this is a prototype. It's a pilot testing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it will be successful or not, how to make it better. There's no comparison. It's a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it, but there's also that element of nervousness. But again, I'll just have to remember, how did I learn like much of this? By watching it again and again and again.
Right.
Just like Top Gun Maverick. I watched it 12 times. The 12th was like the weekend.
Really.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The same thing with Star Wars. It will happen that I'll have to watch them and relate them to sociology.
So these movies really relate to you, or they're really.
Especially the Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is it because of the mentor-mentee relationship?
Yes, and
between,
also like
Maverick and Rooster.
right, yeah, those relationship between Maverick and Rooster,
Mm-hmm.
relationship between a team. How do you teach a team? It's so high stakes. It
Yeah.
can mean their life.
Mm-hmm.
What are you willing to do?
Yeah.
How do you train that team?
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's why you always remind me of Naomi's, like when you said, Like you like the extremes? That was something that you asked now and in that interview with
Oh yeah,
Naomi.
because she said she used to power lift and everything. So I was like, you're
I
kind of an
know.
extreme
I was
person.
like,
Yeah.
I was so in awe watching her. I was like, this is a student who
Yeah.
I'm really learning from. I
Mhm.
think I had her in social theory, but I didn't know that side of her, and
Mhm.
it inspired me. See, that's the meaning of what I
Yeah.
want. That's why I like being professor, because I learn from students,
Yeah.
and you see them grow. Yeah,
They
I
learn
think
from you and you learn from them.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
Mhm.
think I learn more from them because there are many of them.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm just one, but I learn many. Like there are many of them.
Uh-huh.
Right,
Yeah.
and they changed me.
Yeah.
So that if you ask me where does a professor learn, well, for me, for students,
Yeah.
I learn from them.
Yeah.
The textbook is just like an appendage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
an extra. We learn from students when they react, they ask questions,
Mhm.
or they like challenge you. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's part of academic life. It's
Right.
part of training, right?
Yeah.
My children also challenge me, and that's fine. Ruby will always say that's okay.
Yeah.
It means that they challenge you in a respectful way.
Mhm.
Right? It's like they're developing. They're wanting to learn from you how
Yeah.
you would react.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as Star Wars for me is like, yeah, I think it's an opportunity to develop something that's exciting. But for me it's more of how do I develop this now? Where
Yeah.
do I take what inspires me? What will make me make this a better one? I hope it will be a good one. So this one now, the break or the next 3 months will see me watching Star Wars, going through other documentaries of Star Wars, and trying to really learn from this. What is so profound and what is so different in Star Wars? What when you get that is taken for granted? That's that scene. I should see that one. I should force myself to see that.
Yeah.
Or at least the students in the audience
Mhm.
must see that one for me too.
Yeah.
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 So
I'm
those
looking
are the
forward
things.
to hearing from that.
Well, yes, like you may join the
Yeah.
class so you can
Yeah.
so that if Dr. San Miguel and you are there, like at least you give me that kind of you diminish my nervousness.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right? You give me someone to
Yeah.
okay, I know
Have a
them.
friend there for support.
Yeah, a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend. Yeah, I think that's how I see this. It's an exciting project. I
Mhm.
like the project. I don't know how to approach the project right now. It's the same as any project that I've been. They ask me, "What's the plan?" I have no plan right now. Everything is just a mess. Usually the plans comes in immediately, more or less before
Yeah.
the immediate presentation.
Mhm.
And that's scary, right? That's
Yeah.
scary, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is usually for me, even for other things that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the student can relate to you, saying, like when they're scared.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the professor's also scared.
The professor is also scared,
Yeah.
especially the first day of class. I'm
Mhm.
scared with the syllabus. I don't know these people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
I'm not scary, guys.
Yeah.
It's like most students will say, I'm nervous about the class. Well, don't worry. I'm equally nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know them too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm just pretending to be not scared.
Yeah,
but
right,
If
like-
you really see it.
Fake it till
Marcus-
you make it.
Marcus, you're faking it. I know. I'm also scared. I'm
Yeah.
scared. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course. Maybe even more scared than them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
reality. So the professors is human for me.
Yeah.
Human. And a professor is selfless, especially to other people, not just to students, to other people. I think it's a calling to be a professor.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be of service, a role model in a way, but it's more of the help.
Yes.
More of the help. I
Mhm.
always say, professor is always there. The professor will not want to ding you, will not want to badmouth a student. Even though this is a D student wanting a recommendation letter, sir, I try to make it like survivable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't want to contribute to the non-success
Mhm.
of a person. No.
Yeah. No, of course
It's like,
not.
how can you help?
Mhm.
Given this dire situation, or given the situation at hand, how can you help?
Mhm.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good life.
Yeah.
I think I would not have, I would not have chosen another life, or if they were given an alternative. Maybe I would want to be a professor of some other discipline, but
Right.
still maintain be a professor.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
sociology is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad
sociology
to
is
hear
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the sentiments that I have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Dr. Novice, for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, I
this-
hope I was like giving you information that was at least useful for your.
Yeah, you were great. You were great.
Purposes.
I'm sure the students will love it.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so too. Now you make me nervous.
No, we'll be fine. Alrighty. That concludes our first episode of the Dustdevils Coffee Hour. See you next time.